Well, it's going to be a bit tricky because I'm holding it in one hand, but understanding the target ID scale and how the discrimination works with ferrous, with the MANTICORE, you've got your target ID line there, which goes from 0 to 99. There's no ferrous in that line. When you're on so you've got, like, there's your screen. Yeah, that's your line where most of your good targets will come. Some might come down here, low conductors, little tiny bits of bronze or small stuff. You might get bottle caps here. Ferrous is normally there at the top. So you've got 0 to 99. Your iron normally on most machines go before 0. So you normally have like -9 on the 800, which is where your ferrous would be. But the way it works with the MANTICORE, it's as though it comes to there and wraps round, and then so where your numbers would normally go that way for the iron, they're coming up to the top of the screen, which is your small nails, etc. And then your big iron and your bottle caps do this and come down this way. Probably stop about there. So before we go any further, I'll just jump the gun a little bit. What I wanted to explain was, so now you've got a target ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 99. If you get, because someone was saying to me, how come I'm getting a 46 on the MANTICORE and it's iron? It's because, say if this is your 46 there, that would be non-ferrous. If you've got a 46 there, so you still get the target ID of 46, that would be iron. And maybe here as well, it could be iron. This is your definite, well, this is 99% chance that that's non-ferrous, but the target ID is still a 46 or 49, whatever that, what people are saying, like that. It could be there, it could be 4, you know, wherever you get. Say if there's iron coming up there, it will still give you a target ID of, say, 77. But if it was there, it would be non-ferrous 77. It's just the way that the iron works now. So that's why you have to set your ferrous limits. So then you get a 47, say 77 there, but because you've set your ferrous limits, it will give you an iron grunt. If you've got your horseshoe off, it will still give you an iron grunt, but it will also give you a red line under the, so you've got 77 there coming up on the screen, but you'll have a red line underneath it to indicate that it's iron, because you've set your ferrous limit to suit. So whatever comes in your ferrous limit range, the target ID, if it's in that ferrous limit range, you'll get a red line underneath it if you're in all metal mode. And if it's not in the ferrous limit where you've set the ferrous limits, it's not iron, and it won't give you a red line. It will just give you a solid target ID, solid number without the red line. So yeah, people are asking, why are they getting a good number and it's iron? It's because they can fall in that category. So it all depends where you set your ferrous limits. So the only way you can discriminate your nails now is by using the upper and lower ferrous limits, which is your discrimination. And you set that with obviously in the upper lower ferrous limits, or you can do a custom program. The way I've done it, so if you was getting iron and it was coming up a circle there, and your ferrous limits is where that line is, it's going to bleed through. So from what I've been trying to learn in the field is, where does most of the iron come in, and where should I set my ferrous limits? So most of your iron is on that line, so you need to do an upper limit. I don't know how far I might be able to open some of this yet, but obviously I'm still learning, it's early days. So at the minute I've come that sort of distance, so obvious iron will just be in that line and it just give you an iron tone. And then I've sort of stepped it up there and gone across, because some iron where it comes in here, and it spits about. It normally spits up to the top there, so you get a little splatter up there, and it stops the falsing. You could have it all the way across, but what happens, say if you set your, because this is the good stuff, this is where your coins are coming in, smack on that solid line there. But if there's iron there, and your good target's there, or your good target's there, you'll get like a sausage on the screen. If it's picking up the iron, if the iron's a bigger mass than your target, the good target, you'll get a fat splodge there, and then it will sort of skinny on down. So that's telling you there's two targets. It will drag it. Same as that way, you'll get the bigger splodge there, and then it will drag it down to that one. So imagine them splodges. I'm doing this on the whim, like as we go, I'm trying to make it up. So there's your splodges going down to iron. If you've set your upper ferrous limit, instead of being, you know, at the top where it's just getting rid of the iron, if you set your upper limits so it's a line right down there, the signal is going to sound so bad, because this now becomes your iron signal, and you're only going to get a little bleed of a good signal because you've got more of an iron signal. So you go a little tiny squeak as it goes towards the good stuff, which is causing masking. So that the more of a upper ferrous limit you have will mask the good targets more. So you need to use a smaller upper ferrous limit, which is going to give you, you'll hear the little grunt, but then you'll get a more prominent good signal, which will get your attention easier. So instead of it going like a little tiny squeak coming down, it will go beep beep beep, if that makes sense. So yeah, always try and use as little upper ferrous limits as you can get away with without it chirping and falsing off too much. If you've got your sensitivity at 28 or something and it's falsing loads, that's telling you your sensitivity is way too high. Sometimes you can use it at 28, but a lot of the times you're going to be finding a 22, 21, 22. But obviously, so as you bring your sensitivity down, instead of it falsing all the time, you're going to get a truer reading of what's going on in the ground. So yeah, so that's sort of the tails that you can get if there's two targets or multiple targets. You'll get it dragging down. What I've found so far is, you know, this might all change. I'm learning. I'm just trying to tell people what I've learned as I go along. If there's a lot of iron, clippy iron, it's spitting about, you might get an after, because you've set your ferrous limits like as minimum as you can, you might get a good signal trying to come through, but it doesn't sound nice, and you're getting dots. So there's your good target, there's your true line there. You're getting a target there, say, in between iron and the good, and it will be a bit splodgy round it. It won't be a nice circle, and you'll also get splatter. That's not, you can't say 100% iron, but that's 99% is going to be iron. Sometimes it won't look that nice on the screen, but you'll get a solid signal. You might get a bit of splatter sometimes. You'll get an iron up there, maybe a bit spatty around that, but you'll be able to separate it in your ears. You'll be able to hear the beep 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 beep. You know what I mean? You'll get that to repeat. If it doesn't repeat and it keeps jumping round and it sounds crap, the numbers are all over the shop, you know that it's a good chance it's going to be iron. So look at the screen, use your screen to help you and aid you in deciding what the target is. But your ears, when you hear the two targets, and you can make that good target come on nearly every sweep, even if you hear grunts and splurts and horrible signal, but that one good target is going beep 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 with all the other noise in between, and that repeats. Dig it, even if it's off that line. You haven't got it hasn't got to be on that on the conductive line. Also, if you're getting signals that go a splodge like that, a long splodge, that's normally telling you that it's not a round item, but it's a digger. If you've got here, I've had little bits of Roman coins and bronze items and stuff. Normally they're a smaller target, smaller circle, instead of being a big circle on the line. It's telling you it's a smaller target, maybe at depth, and it's usually bits of bronze and stuff. Bottle caps can come here, but also good targets could come there. So at the minute I'm using no lower limits, because it's the amount of times I've had targets on the bottom line that I've been eyeing is minimal. So if you're using an upper limit up here straight across, yeah, you might get rid of some of the nuisance targets, but you're also going to lose 50% good targets that could be coming down. Do you like my drawing? Just trying to help explain it a little bit and understand. This is just what I'm picturing it. So yeah, 0 to 99 is on that line. It's different the way the Manticore works. It's as though the iron comes around to the top, so that's where you've got your upper and lower limits, because the iron goes up to the top. It's like an S shape. Definitely need upper limits, because you'll be getting tricked all the time, because that's where all your iron comes in. Lower limits, you can have it, but you will lose some targets, and you're adding more filter, and it's going to be masking out targets more. Well, you've got the amazing drawing there now. Got it all sussed out. Get out in the field and find some goodies. Picasso, that is. Nah, it's all a massive learning curve, and there's still loads I've got to learn. I understand all the settings on it now. I've got all that sussed. I think I've pretty much sussed out the Manticore. But what I want to do, I want to try and get on a Roman site. The best lesson, the best experience you can learn off any machine is in amongst that iron. When you know there's good targets there, and if you can learn where the iron's coming through and all them iffy signals, that's the biggest test, the biggest lesson. But yeah, still to be on a Roman site yet. So far, racket. I better go before this bloody noise starts. Someone's cutting edges. Yeah, so far Manticore is absolutely spanking it. It's a brilliant machine. Love everything about it. Headphones, battery, we've got that sorted already, so there's nothing about the Manticore I don't like at the minute. Happy days. And I heard there's an update coming out which is going to make it even better. See you in a bit. Thanks for watching. I hope that helps you out, folks. If it does, drop me a comment, give us a like, subscribe. Speak to you soon. Ta-da. Happy hunting.